Hey guys, Justin from Arcane Factories here, just giving everyone a special behind-the-scenes kind of look at how we came up with our Angel of Death, concept ideas and art. When trying to design the Angel of Death, what we had was we were looking back at all the old influences, and the first thing that popped in my head was H.R. Geiger, who did all the awesome alien designs and stuff. That was kind of really dark, kind of biomechanical, tentacles and faces and creepy kind of looking things. So we decided to use a lot of elements from those designs. And also, growing up, it's a very old manga series now. I read a lot of this series called Berserk by Kentaro Miura. So Kentaro Miura designed Berserk, or wrote Berserk, and he had some really awesome, striking imagery. Lots of these kind of really weird faces, like, especially during one of the scenes, which is called the whole Eclipse story arc, and shouts out to any fans of the Berserk manga. It's awesome. So during the Eclipse story arc, a lot of the main characters from Berserk are kind of transported to the demon world, where you get the whole landscape is made up of all these faces of demons and souls and stuff. It's pretty creepy. And we tried to implement a lot of that into our design for Death as well, with all the tentacles and things. Another big influence on us when designing Death was Joe Madureira, who is a comic book artist and now also a game concept designer. And when I was growing up, he did a series called Battle Chasers. In issue 7 of Battle Chasers, Joe Mad kind of features this really cool kind of undead monstrosity called the Borrower, where it's like this sludgy slime thing that kills things and kind of sucks in all the different body parts to make up this huge, gigantic tentacle beast. Very Lovecraftian in terms of design. We borrowed aspects of that when designing Death. Well, I was a huge fan of the Castlevania series while growing up. I wasn't very good at the game, I sucked at it. But the recent Castlevania games also featured a lot of these really cool masks. It kind of is a throwback to the creepy stuff happening in the, I think it was like the early 10th century, or even way back to kind of Egyptian practices where old civilizations would kind of make death masks of people that have passed away as a kind of memento. They would stick their faces in wax and kind of make like this perfect cast of their face as a death mask. Princess Mononoke, one of the famous Studio Ghibli movies by Hayao Miyazaki. And in that movie, there are these great forest gods and forest spirits that become corrupted by hate. And when that happens, these kind of shadow tendrils and shadow tentacles kind of grow out of them, representing all their hatred and pain and malice. And you can see that in the start of the movie, this boar god gets shot by a bullet, and the pain kind of drives him insane, and he manifests all these kind of tentacles coming out of him, or shadow tendrils coming out of him, and he starts out looking like this, and it ends up looking like this completely different shadow beast. So like, oh, that's really cool. I think Death should have some of that kind of aspect to it as well, especially since she's supposed to be the last angel left alive, who had to kill off the rest of her comrades, and it's her job to kind of clean up the rest of existence, of reality, and she's gone quite mad from it. So that's where all the shadow tendrils and stuff come from. As you may or may not have heard, I am a huge fan of League of Legends. One of my favorite characters in League of Legends is Thresh. And Thresh has this really cool lantern that he uses to store in all the souls of all the creatures or enemies that he's killed. And we kind of implemented that aspect into Death design as well. Death doesn't just collect souls in the lantern, she sucks it out of all her victims after she's reaped them with her scythe. And that's where another of our influences come into. one of our influences is Vampire Hunter D. Vampire Hunter D has this kind of spirit living in one of his hands, and he uses the spirit to kind of cast different spells out of, and he uses it to kind of devour different negative spell effects of all his enemies that his enemies kind of throw at him. So we use this aspect in Death as well. The armor of Death. And growing up, I was also a huge fan of the Top Cow comics, specifically Witchblade and The Darkness, both done by Mark Silvestri and also the late Michael Turner. We tried to implement those kind of really cool bio-looking armor designs into Death's design, because we didn't want to have like just a weird naked body. We wanted her to be really corrupted and but still looking really cool. And didn't want to have any aspects of kind of plague or rot into it, because those belong to, you know, pestilence and famine. So we wanted Death to have not particular bone kind of armor, but just this really unique kind of look. So we implemented a lot of the Witchblade and Darkness kind of shadow designs into it that kind of work really well with shadow tendrils and shadow tentacles. And this is not the final product, but this is one of our concept art pieces that we did for Death, kind of behind the scenes kind of look of where we're heading for Death. And this is the final result, where we combine, you know, the scythe things and screaming faces, screaming masks, all the different shadow tendrils and the creepy bio armor, and this is the final result. So hopefully you guys like it. Thanks for listening in, and we'll have more videos for you soon.